Have you ever noticed how sometimes your own body can feel like a place of struggle? The weight we feel isn't just in our thoughts, dreams, or fears. Sometimes it settles deep inside the very parts of ourselves that carry us through life. But there is a very simple, ancient practice for finding our center again. It's a quiet way of using a little olive oil as a tool for attention. When you bring gentle intention to specific parts of your body, you're not fighting an enemy. You are creating a sanctuary. You're simply reminding yourself of your own strength, and the noise of inner conflict begins to quiet down. Today, let's explore 7 parts of the body where this quiet attention can bring you back to a place of stillness and clarity. My path is calm and clear. Go ahead, type that in the comments below to set your intention for this journey. If you've been looking for a way to find that quiet center within yourself, you are in the right place. This is a space for that kind of gentle work. Take a moment to subscribe and join our community so we can walk this path together. The first place our inner storms often begin is the mind. The mind is not just a collection of thoughts. You can think of it as the starting point for your whole inner weather system. If your thoughts are in constant motion, your entire experience of life will feel unsteady. Look back for a moment. Every worry that kept you frozen, every self-doubt that held you back, every confusion that made you feel lost. Where did it all begin? It started in the mind. It began as a small stir in the pool of your thoughts. This is why bringing mindful attention to your head is not just a symbolic act. It's a practice of gently reclaiming your own inner stillness. When you take a small drop of oil and gently place it on your forehead or temples, you are making a simple statement. My mind is a space for peace, not for chaos. The moment your fingers touch your skin, you create a separation. You separate your awareness from the tangled web of thinking. You are simply choosing to honor your own wisdom and clarity, so no passing fog can cloud your inner view. Because that inner disturbance doesn't always show up loudly. Often, it comes quietly. It shows up as endless overthinking, or sudden waves of heaviness, or little whispers of doubt you can't quite explain. How many times have you woken up feeling a pressure in your head, as if a weight was placed there while you slept? That isn't just being tired. It's often a sign that your mind has been running all night, tangled in old patterns. Bringing this gentle touch to your head is like clearing the entryway to your home. You're not just creating a barrier against more distraction. You are cultivating your own focus and your own deep, intuitive knowing. When you bring this simple intention to your mind, it acts as an anchor in the midst of confusion, and something interesting happens. What once seemed so complicated starts to look simple. What felt impossible begins to feel manageable again, because clarity is a quiet kind of power. A person whose mind is calm and clear cannot be easily pulled off their path. But a mind filled with fog is an open invitation for more confusion. Just consider how many lives have been unsettled simply because their thoughts were in turmoil. Someone told them they weren't enough, and a small part of them started to believe it. A worry was planted in their mind, and it began to grow roots. Fear was introduced as a whisper, and it slowly began to influence their entire path. Our deepest patterns know that the body often follows the mind's direction, so the inner conflict always starts where our intentions are formed. That is why this gentle act must become a practice, a quiet, steady form of self-care. Every time you feel the weight of confusion, or your mind feels restless, or a particular worry starts to take over, you can try this. This simple touch is a reminder that a thought born of old fear does not have to grow in the garden of your mind, and the head carries something even deeper. Think of it as your center of direction. In many traditions, leaders were acknowledged with a touch to the head because it represents guidance and your own inner authority. Life's anxieties can sometimes make you feel adrift, like you're just following along instead of charting your own course. When you practice this simple act, you are restoring that quiet confidence. You're gently reminding the unsettled parts of yourself, I am not a servant of my fears. I walk with a sense of my own path. That drop of oil becomes a physical anchor for your own unseen strength. It is a quiet practice, but also a profound statement. Think about how often our minds get tangled up at night, racing thoughts, vivid dreams, or a subtle tension that greets you in the morning. These aren't just random events. They are often signs of an unsettled mind trying to process things. But when you make a habit of calming the mind before rest, even your sleep can become a place of deeper peace. The oil itself is just a simple tool. It helps you focus. The real power is in the intention you bring to it. It's a way of drawing a gentle boundary, a space of calm that worry and self-doubt cannot easily cross. And once the mind finds a bit of stillness, everything else in the body begins to follow. Your thoughts find their natural clarity. Your focus becomes sharper. Your choices feel more grounded. A clear mind is the most powerful tool for navigating life's challenges. Now, let's think about the eyes. They are the windows through which we experience so much of the world. What you allow yourself to look at doesn't just stay on the surface. You know this. It sinks into your mind and your heart. And life's distractions understand this, which is why your attention is so often pulled in 1,000 different directions. Because if your gaze can be constantly distracted, your path can become crooked. If your perception is clouded, your reality can feel overwhelming. That's why bringing gentle attention to your eyes is so important. It's a small, simple declaration. I will choose to see with clarity. My focus will stay true, and my eyes will look for what is real. Many times, people forget the quiet power of their own gaze. But think about it for a moment. Nearly everything you know about your world first came through your sight. You see a path forward. You see a potential obstacle. You see warmth in another person's face. But what happens when your eyes are so tired that you can't tell the difference between a real opportunity and a distraction? Life's challenges often use this weariness. They create illusions. They present distractions and things that look important but are not. For example, a habit that drains you can start to look like comfort. A choice that will complicate your life can momentarily look like freedom. This is what happens when our inner vision gets tired. It convinces you that you're walking towards something good, when really you're just walking in circles. This is why a simple touch of oil on the eyelids or temples carries so much meaning. In that moment of touch, you're asking for more than just physical relief. You're asking for discernment. You are gently waking up your ability to see beyond the surface, beyond appearances, beyond the stories people tell. Because the things that throw us off our path often hide in plain sight. They might show up in familiar situations or through comfortable habits. But an eye that is clear and rested does not easily fall for these things. A clear eye sees the truth, no matter how it's disguised. So many people walk through life a little blind to the patterns they repeat. You might wonder why you keep falling into the same kinds of situations again and again. You wonder why you trust people who are not trustworthy or chase things that lead nowhere. Often, the answer is simple. Your vision has become exhausted. Your attention, the gateway to your spirit, has become clouded. But the moment you bring this gentle intention to your eyes, the fog begins to clear. Suddenly, your own inner wisdom awakens. You start to notice the small signals you used to ignore. You begin to feel the subtle difference between what is genuine and what is just noise. And your path becomes clearer because clarity is replacing the habit of distraction. The eyes are also deeply connected to what we desire. You know this. What you look at over and over again begins to shape what you want. And what you want shapes who you become. Distractions work by placing tempting, but ultimately empty, images in front of you, trying to pull you away from what truly matters. This is why you can find yourself drawn to things that weaken you, unable to look away from what you know doesn't serve you. This simple act helps break that cycle. It brings your intention back to your desires. It cleanses your gaze so you no longer chase after every shadow, but instead look for what has substance. You begin to be drawn to what strengthens you, not what drains you. And think about how many unsettled feelings come through what we see, even in our dreams. Our eyes are not just physical, they are the windows of our inner world. Sometimes, restlessness shows up as disturbing images or vivid dreams that plant a seed of fear and weaken your sense of calm. But when your eyes are cared for and rested, your inner vision is also sealed in that peace. Your dreams might even begin to feel different. Perhaps you see guidance instead of terror, and that feeling of fear loses its grip because your vision is grounded in stillness. This small act also restores your focus. In a world with endless things pulling at your attention, the easiest way to lose your way is to have your focus scattered, to keep you so busy looking in 100 different directions that you forget where you truly wanted to go. But when you consecrate your vision with this intention, your gaze becomes steady. You stop wasting your energy. You stop letting yourself get pulled around by every shiny object. Instead, your vision stays fixed on what is real, on what is true for your life. That is why the eyes should never be left to simply fend for themselves. Because once your vision is exhausted, everything else will eventually follow. If you can't see clearly, you can't walk clearly. But when your eyes are rested and cared for, distraction loses one of its greatest weapons. And this small ritual becomes more than a simple act. It becomes a small light. It illuminates your path. It reveals the traps of old habits, and it keeps you aligned with your own purpose. Because to see clearly is to live with quiet strength, and no distraction can control a life that walks in its own light. Now, consider the ears. They are one of the most underrated gateways to our inner state, yet they have a huge influence over us. What you allow yourself to hear day after day shapes what you believe. And you know this, what you believe shapes how you live your life. The chaos of the world knows this too, and that is why it works so often through sound, through words, through the constant hum of information. It doesn't always show up as a loud interruption. More often, it's the casual gossip you overhear, the negative opinions repeated until they sound like truth, or the careless words spoken by others that you didn't even realize you absorbed. If your ears are left unguarded, the residue of these words can take root inside you. And before you know it, it starts to show up in your life. When you bring a simple, mindful touch to your ears, perhaps with a little oil, you are simply declaring that you will be intentional about what you let in. You are cleansing the very portal through which so much of the world's influence enters. Because influence is subtle, it's quiet, it sneaks in slowly, shaping your thoughts one sentence at a time. Think about it for a moment. How much of your inner life has been shaped not by what you saw, but by what you heard? Someone once told you that you weren't good enough, and you carried that comment for years. Someone spoke about failure around you, and you replayed their words until they started to feel like your own. Words are like seeds. Your ears are the soil where they are planted. This is why this practice is so important. It's like tending to the soil, refusing to let weeds take over the garden. Sometimes the world's noise can feel like an attack in ways you might not even recognize. A harsh tone in a dream, a sudden anxious feeling triggered by a certain sound, or a restlessness that seems to come from nowhere. These are not always accidents. They are often signs of inner turmoil planted through what you hear. But once you bring this quiet attention to your ears, these sounds start to lose their power. You no longer absorb them as truth. You can recognize them as just noise. Your ears become tuned again to clarity, to guidance, and to your own inner strength instead of to the world's manipulation. Your ears are also deeply connected to your sense of direction. What you listen to often determines the path you follow. If your ears are filled with the sounds of fear, you will naturally walk a path of fear. If your ears are filled with discouragement, you will follow the path of defeat. The world's chaos tries to make sure that the loudest voice in your life is always the one pulling you away from your own sense of purpose. It fills your space with endless noise, with chatter that keeps you from hearing the still, quiet guidance within yourself. But when your ears are cared for with this simple intention, you regain a sense of choice over what you truly listen to. The background noise starts to fade. The false narratives lose their volume, and suddenly your own quiet truth becomes louder. You begin to hear what strengthens you, what aligns you, what calls you forward on your path. Think about how much of modern life is designed to capture your hearing. Music, conversations, media, sound is absolutely everywhere, and it's constantly influencing us. But not all of it is neutral. Some sounds carry a feeling of despair. Some carry anger. Some carry a profound emptiness. And when you let these things enter your ears without any filter, they begin to shape your whole inner atmosphere. An unsettled spirit knows this and uses it. Because if your inner world is filled with the noise of negativity, your life will begin to reflect that noise. But this small practice changes that. It's like creating a gentle filter. You learn to discern. You know when to let things in and when to let them pass by. You no longer just accept everything blindly. You start to choose what builds you up, what truly strengthens you. This practice also awakens a new kind of sensitivity. It allows you to hear not just the clamor of the world, but the quiet truths that often go unheard. It makes you more aware of the subtle manipulations in conversation, the small shifts in tone that other people might miss. With this inner attunement, you can feel the difference between encouragement and flattery, between real guidance and mere distraction. You stop being such an easy place for negativity to land, because your hearing is no longer left unprotected. There's another layer here as well. Your ears are tied to your memory. So much of what you carry emotionally today is not just about what you saw, but what you once heard. The harsh words, the painful judgments, the voices from your past, they can still echo in your mind. The world's chaos loves to use these echoes. It replays old wounds again and again until you feel trapped by them. But when you anoint your ears, you can choose to quiet those echoes. The gentle touch becomes a seal, closing the door on words that were meant to wound, refusing to let them play on an endless loop. You begin to remember differently. Instead of old hurts, you begin to hear a new kind of inner strength. So don't underestimate this small, simple act. Because once your ears are consciously cared for, you are no longer a prisoner of sound. You decide what comes in. You decide what grows. You decide which voice will be your guide. And when your ears are tuned to your own quiet truth, deception has nowhere to take hold. A restless world cannot command a life that refuses to listen to its lies. This is why our ears must be cared for, because what you hear can become what you are. Once your hearing is guarded, your path is guided. The hands carry a quiet power most people overlook. They are not just the tools we use for work. They are also our most direct connection to the world around us. Everything you build, everything you hold, everything you offer to the world passes through your hands. Life's disruptions understand this, so they often seek to create frustration in the work of our hands, causing a sense of being stuck or feeling like your efforts lead to nothing. You may have noticed moments where you work very hard, yet nothing seems to come of it. You plant seeds of effort, but the harvest feels distant. You try again and again, but you just feel blocked. This isn't always a sign of external resistance. Many times it's an internal pattern, a feeling of being bound that keeps your hands from producing what they're capable of. When you bring this gentle attention to your hands, you are making a quiet declaration. You're saying that whatever you touch will be done with intention, whatever you build will be built with care, and whatever you let go of will be released with strength. The act itself is so simple, but spiritually, it's very deep, because your hands are a gateway of influence. They connect your inner world to the outer world. If your hands feel spiritually heavy or bound, your entire life can feel blocked. But when your hands are cared for with intention, no sense of limitation can remain attached to your work. Your efforts begin to carry more meaning. Your actions feel more fruitful, and the results become clearer. Think for a moment about how this feeling of being stuck operates. It doesn't need to physically stop you. It only needs to weaken the feeling of purpose in your hands. Suddenly, your resources seem to slip away faster than you can manage them. Opportunities feel like they pass right through your fingers. Even relationships can feel like they're falling apart, no matter how hard you try to hold them together. This is the subtle work of our inner resistance, making sure that nothing you touch feels truly solid or lasting. But once you take a simple drop of oil and warm it in your palms, you are breaking that old pattern. You are consecrating your ability to hold, to build, to create with mindfulness. You are saying, these hands were made for mindful action, not for feeling helpless. Your hands are also deeply connected to giving and receiving. Life's chaos knows this and will often try to disrupt the natural flow between the two. Some people give and give and give, but they never seem to receive anything back in return. Others receive, but their hands are so metaphorically closed that they never learn the simple joy of generosity. When this flow of giving and receiving is broken, life can start to feel empty and out of balance. Bringing mindful attention to your hands helps restore this natural rhythm. It opens your palms to receive what life offers you without obstruction. And it allows you to give with an open heart, without fear. Your hands stop being conduits of lack and become channels for a more abundant flow. Just consider how many meaningful acts involve our hands. We offer comfort with a gentle touch. We show healing through our hands. We seal our trust with a handshake. The turmoil within us knows this power, and so it tries to corrupt our hands, making them feel heavy, restless, or disconnected. But when you anoint them, you restore their natural purity. You cleanse the gateway. You make sure that what flows from your hands brings life, not more of that old stuck feeling. Hands cared for with intention carry peace. They carry strength. They carry a quiet fire that no old pattern can resist. And there are even deeper levels to this truth. Our hands represent our unique skills, our talents, our craftsmanship. Inner turmoil tries to cover these up, to make you doubt your own worth, to convince you to hide your talents or to waste them. That's why so many gifted people never fully step into their own potential. They felt that their hands were tied before they even had a chance to begin. But this simple act of care can break that silence. It reawakens your creativity. It sharpens your skills. It restores your quiet confidence in yourself. And suddenly, you find yourself able to do what you thought was impossible. Your work starts to be seen. Your unique gifts begin to open doors for you, because hands that are cared for with intention cannot remain hidden. They create light wherever they go. So, think about this carefully. Every time you lift your hands, you are signaling something. Hands lifted in surrender, in prayer, or in simple, honest work. Inner struggle tries to make sure your hands are always lifted in defeat, in exhaustion, in a feeling of emptiness. But anointing them changes that posture. It transforms weakness into quiet strength, defeat into resolve, emptiness into fullness. Your hands become instruments of light. They are no longer bound, no longer empty, no longer weak. And remember this, our hands are deeply tied to our legacy. Whatever you pass on to others, whatever you bless, flows through your hands. If your hands feel bound, your legacy feels blocked. But if your hands are anointed, your gifts can outlive you. That's why this act is so powerful, not just for you, but for everything and everyone connected to you. When your hands are consecrated with intention, no pattern can stop your work. No feeling of being cursed can block your blessings. And no inner power can bind what was made to create and to prosper. Everything you touch can be transformed. Our feet are one of the most significant, yet often ignored, parts of the body when we think about our spiritual well-being. They carry you into your future. They walk you towards opportunities. They guide you along the path of your life. If some part of you can hinder your own steps, it can delay your purpose. This is why inner conflict so often targets the feet. You might feel a sense of heaviness for no reason, as if something invisible were holding you back. You may notice that whenever you start to move forward in life, obstacles seem to appear out of nowhere. Doors that were open suddenly close. Paths that once looked clear suddenly become blocked. These aren't always just random chance. Many times, it is a direct result of an internal battle against your own progress, an attempt to make sure you never arrive where you know you are meant to be. When you anoint your feet with oil, you are declaring that no internal force will hold back your journey. You are consecrating your path, bringing blessing and intention to every step, and aligning your walk with your deeper purpose. Every drop of oil that touches your feet becomes a seal, a spiritual grounding that inner turmoil cannot cross. It means that wherever you choose to walk, the ground is claimed for peace, not for struggle. It means that no pattern of delay, no chain of stagnation, and no trap of misdirection can bind you. Because when your feet are cared for, your journey is protected. Think for a moment about how this inner stagnation operates. Its goal is not always to stop you completely. Sometimes it just wants to slow you down, to make sure that a journey that should have taken 1 year takes 10 instead. It tries to fill your path with detours, to lead you in circles, to waste your time until you lose your strength and your motivation. This is why so many people feel like they are always moving, but never actually arriving anywhere. They are walking, yet their progress feels completely blocked. But once your feet are cared for with this intention, the cycles of delay are broken. The invisible weights seem to fall away. Suddenly, your movement feels smoother, your progress feels faster, and your path begins to open up in ways you could not have forced on your own. Your feet are also symbolic of taking your ground. In many ancient traditions, whatever ground your feet stood upon was considered claimed by you. Your inner struggles know this, so they try to keep your feet from reaching the places where your blessings are waiting. These inner patterns fill your future paths with feelings of fear, confusion, and obstacles, so that you turn back before you ever arrive. But when you anoint your feet, you are declaring ownership over the ground of your own destiny. Every place your feet touch becomes marked with your own quiet authority. Every step you take becomes a step of intention. You no longer wander aimlessly. You walk with purpose, knowing that your steps are guided from within. There is also a deep connection between the feet and our sense of freedom. When your feet feel bound, you are like a prisoner. Inner turmoil works to tie your feet spiritually, making you feel stuck in the same old cycles. No matter how much effort you put in, you always end up right back where you started. You may notice these patterns repeating in your life, as if you are running on a treadmill. This is a clear sign of spiritually bound feet, but this simple oil breaks that rope. The moment you anoint your feet, you release yourself from those repetitive cycles. The ground beneath you begins to feel different, and the path ahead begins to straighten out. What once kept you going around in circles no longer has the same power, and you can finally move forward. Also, think about how our feet represent stability. A person without firm footing will always stumble. Inner turmoil tries to shake your stability, to make your steps feel uncertain, to cause you to trip right at the moment you should be standing strong. It fills your walk with invisible traps, hidden pits, and snares that can cause you to fall when you least expect it. But anointed feet are steady feet. They are not shaken by life's sudden storms. They walk firmly, with balance and strength, no matter how rough the terrain might get. A little oil on the feet is a reminder that you will not stumble where others might fall. The feet also carry a kind of prophetic power, because they represent the journeys you have not yet taken. The enemy within you tries to close those future paths before you even begin walking them, by placing fear in your heart so you never even take the first step. But anointed feet break the power of that fear. They give you the quiet courage to step into the unknown, to walk into new opportunities, and to go where others might not dare to go. Your steps begin to create new paths, opening ways not just for you, but for those who might follow after you. And remember, the feet are symbolic of peace. A person who is always restless, always wandering without a clear direction, never truly finds peace. Witchcraft, or this inner turmoil, thrives on that kind of restlessness. But when your feet are anointed, a sense of peace follows you. You no longer wander, you journey. You no longer chase after shadows, you walk towards your purpose. Every step you take is filled with meaning, and every direction is aligned with your destiny. When your feet are consecrated with oil, no inner conflict can delay your journey, no curse of the past can tie your steps, and no inner trap can make you stumble. You will walk in strength, you will walk in clarity, and you will walk in victory. The heart is the deepest and most sacred space within a human being. It's not just the organ that keeps us alive. It is the seat of our emotions, our intentions, and our spirit. Everything truly flows from the heart: your courage, your sense of peace, your ability to love, your inner strength. And because it is the very core of who you are, inner turmoil always seeks to attack it first. If your own patterns can corrupt your heart, they can weaken your entire being. You might notice how bitterness can grow where love once was, or how fear replaces your natural confidence, or how anger can rise up quickly and consume you. These are not just random emotions. They are often signs that your heart has been targeted, that a spiritual invasion is trying to poison your own inner well. Anointing the heart with oil is one of the most powerful acts of self-protection you can do. When you place a drop of oil upon your chest, you are declaring that your emotions, your peace, and your spirit will not be ruled by chaos. You are sealing the very center of your being, cleansing it from invisible stains, and restoring it to its natural state of purity, because this inner turmoil thrives on brokenness. It feeds on old wounds that have been left unhealed. If the enemy within you can keep your heart feeling heavy, he can make you blind to opportunity, deaf to wisdom, and weak in spirit. But when your heart is anointed with intention, no bitterness can take root there. No fear can remain, and no curse from your past can continue to live there. Think about how the heart is so closely tied to love. Inner chaos loves to attack our love, because love is our greatest strength. It creates division in our relationships, mistrust between friends, and betrayal among family. It whispers lies into the heart, making you question who you are, making you feel unworthy of real affection, unworthy of deep connection. Slowly, it builds walls around you, isolating you until you feel completely empty. But hearts that are cared for do not fall for this old trap. A little oil on the heart helps to soften those walls. It heals the old wounds, and it restores your ability to give and receive love in a balanced way. And suddenly, your relationships might begin to feel lighter, forgiveness becomes possible, and the heavy chains of mistrust finally break away. The heart is also the very center of our courage. Many people fail in life not because they lack opportunities, but because fear paralyzes their heart. The chaos within knows this, and it often plants seeds of fear deep inside you. It convinces you that you cannot succeed, that you are too weak, that danger is waiting for you at every single step. And once that fear lives in the heart, it spreads everywhere, into the mind, into the body, into every action you take. But oil on the heart helps to burn that fear away. It ignites courage where doubt once lived. It makes you feel strong again, steady again, brave again. You begin to face what once terrified you, and you realize that the fear was nothing more than an illusion. And think of how the heart is tied to our sense of peace. Without peace, life becomes chaos. Without peace, even our blessings can start to feel heavy. This inner witchcraft specializes in stealing our peace. It fills the heart with constant restlessness, with anxiety you can't explain, with endless worry. You can have everything you ever wanted and still feel like something is profoundly missing. That emptiness is not natural, it is a spiritual attack. But anointed hearts overflow with peace. A drop of oil on your chest can restore a sense of calm. It balances your emotions. It silences the storms within. You may still face challenges in your life, but you no longer have to live in a state of torment. Peace becomes your anchor. The heart also carries memory, not just of what happened, but of the pain. So many people carry wounds from their past that they never truly healed. And our inner patterns know how to use those old wounds, how to replay them again and again until the heart is trapped in sorrow. The bitterness of betrayal, the pain of rejection, the grief of loss, these scars are real, but they are not meant to define who you are. Anointing the heart helps to close those wounds. It cleanses the hidden pain. It releases what was meant to destroy you and turns it into a source of strength. You can stop living as a prisoner of your past and begin to live as the master of your present. Another layer of this is joy. The enemy within hates joy because joy is strength. This inner turmoil tries to drain it by surrounding you with negativity, overwhelming you with problems, and placing a heaviness in your spirit. But joy is not just happiness, it is our inner light. A little oil on the heart can reignite this light. It brings back laughter where there was silence, gratitude where there was complaint, hope where there was once despair. A joyful heart is truly untouchable by darkness. This is why the heart must be protected at all costs, because everything else flows from it. If your heart is heavy, your steps will be heavy. If your heart is broken, your vision will be blurred. If your heart is weak, your hands will lose their strength. But when the heart is anointed with care, everything else in your life begins to heal. This journey of inner work is a lifelong practice, a gentle unfolding. If you're ready to commit to this path of observation and care, make sure you subscribe so we can continue to explore these simple truths together.